Hello all. Today I want to take you through the revolution known as selfies. Now almost all of us have heard of this concept and have probably indulged in taking a selfie at some point. There are a lot of articles out there talking about selfies and the certain effects it might have on a person, both negative and positive. YouTube vlogger Lacey Green posted this video talking about selfies and the selfie resolution, making lots of good points, including this one.
By men. Now anyone can have their portrait taken and preserved throughout time, which is important because when you think about the purpose of self-portraiture to begin with, it's to capture who you are, an opportunity to define yourself instead of having other people define you, and to be represented. I mean, we live in a society that has a
But how did this revolution come about? As Lacey says in her videos, self-portraits have been around for a long time, but only now have become a major concept in our society. What changed? What I'm going to look at today are some of the defining social media platforms that have changed the art of selfies, and why there has been a sudden trend of self-portraits. But first off, we need to go back a bit before the selfie boom and look into the hashtag. Everyone knows about the social phenomenon called Twitter, the microblogging site where you send messages or tweets of 140 characters or less out to the world. The site started in 2006 and quickly gained a lot of support as Tamara Small shows by stating, Twitter can be a source of breaking news because it is a real-time global communications platform. It allows anyone with access to the web via the computer or even cell phone to immediately share eyewitness accounts with others all around the world. Twitter is both good and bad, since everyone can post their own unbiased view, but is open to fake tweets about real events. Small talks about the conversion of the pound symbol to what we know it as today, the hashtag, stating that hashtags are not native to the Twitter platform, rather they are a community-driven convention popularized during the San Diego fires in 2007. Hashtags are used to group information together under a certain category. Hashtags can be created and used by anyone and help bring together a story or connect a community of people to one another. Users of Twitter were now able to tweet to larger audiences than just the people following them, and the hashtag became synonymous with the popular site. The hashtag is now used in everyday life, for some and used on almost all social media platforms, with Facebook integrating their own hashtag system and hashtags becoming a large part of the picture website Instagram. Leanne Italy tells us that the selfies originated in 2004, first surfacing on Flickr and MySpace, and was referenced on Urban Dictionary in 2005. Although Instagram came way after these first instances of self-portraits, it is now considered the largest photo-sharing social media platform, with Italy stating that more than 23 million photos have been uploaded to the app Instagram, with the tag #selfie, and about 70 million photos clog Instagram's #me. Instagram, while having an actual website, is a mobile-based social media platform used to share pictures and look at pictures of friends, family, strangers, and even celebrities. It's a constant feed of pictures taken by the people you follow that have a small description, as well as options to like the photo or leave a comment. The application is a blend between Facebook and Twitter, with it being more descriptive than a 140-character tweet, but less private as with the status on Facebook. This makes it a popular platform to share photos on compared to the other two. Instagram has facilitated many weird trends, including the hashtag #AfterSex, which Steigman writes about in University Wire after almost 10,000 Instagram photos with the hashtag were posted. He asked Professor John Pryor about the phenomenon, and he had an intriguing insight. I suppose one might suspect that narcissism is one personality characteristic that could be correlated with posting selfies in general. Maybe people who post after-sex selfies are essentially bragging about their sex lives. If so, I would expect that men might post them more than women. Instagram has also been home to some very interesting trends, including the possibility of the first space selfie. Murphy writes about NASA's new Instagram account in 2013, stating that their first uploaded content to the application was of the iconic photograph of the Earth seeming to rise out of the moon's surface. Although it's not a selfie, the possibility of that is higher with this introduction. While Instagram is used to share any photos from food or your dog to iconic space images, it is dominated by selfies of different people as shown before by Italy. But why are selfies more prevalent in social media than other types of photos? As discussed before, the art of taking an image of oneself has been around for a long time. An article by Jerry Saltz, however, brings us back to what we are really looking at. His article looks at the selfie and how it's transformed and why, but also makes comparisons between self-portrait and selfies. These selfies are not like the self-portraits we're used to. Setting aside the formal dissimilarities between these two forms of framing of technique, traditional photograph self-portraiture is far less spontaneous and casual than a selfie is. This new genre isn't dominated by artists. When made by amateurs, traditional photographic self-portraiture didn't become a distinct thing, didn't have a codified look or transform into social dialogue and conversation. These pictures were not usually disseminated to strangers and were never made in such numbers by so many people. It's possible that the selfie is the most prevalent popular genre ever. Saltz clearly shows us the difference in self-portrait in paintings and film compared to the new revolution that is selfies. The sudden change in the dominance of this photography form can be most blamed on the progression of technology. Alice E. Marwick writes, "The ability to replicate digital photographs, the integration of cameras into mobile phones, and the popularity of sites like Flickr, Imgur, Facebook, and Instagram facilitate and encourage sharing photos with others. Different social media platforms, technological advances, and new mobile applications have led towards this boom in selfies." Frosch also tells us how a change in conversation has altered our snap-happy lives. The advent of photography as a live medium, using digital networks to connect into colluders in space rather than time, brings it closer to a conversational practice that draws images and their reference into the immediate moment of discursive interaction. The progression from an art form to conversational picture has been short, but is incredibly interesting nonetheless. Having a technology-heavy society has meant we have been able to share our self-image with the world and gain gratitude for ourselves through the amount of likes on a photo, creating a sense of worth. The same could be said about writing statuses or a blog, but none of these show our true selves as bare as a photograph can. Marwick writes, as Ori Schwartz studied, we are witnessing a shift from photographing others for self-consumption to documentation of the self for consumption by others. While photographs have always been able to show perspective and identity, we now use them more than ever before to display ourselves. This shows us how these selfies can affect us, as they are a side of ourselves that we are willing to show to the world. Frosch again writes, instantaneous distribution of an image via Instagram and similar social networks is what makes the phenomenon of the selfie significantly different from its earlier photographic precursors. These two quotes tell us why looking at selfies is an important factor. It is a trend that is sweeping the world very quickly and can affect us in many different ways. Celebrities are constantly taking selfies, with some becoming quite famous. For example, this one that Ellen DeGeneres snapped at the 2014 Oscars, or this video talking about Kim Kardashian's book of selfies. Continuing the trend is not a problem, but studying it and understanding it is a different thought altogether. Although I've shown you much today about the selfie trend, the revolution continues, and there is more and will be more to study about selfies. Thanks for watching.